In order to create a draft feature in the component, we have to create a component firstly, which I have created on the screen. It is a simple cube, and I want to draft, or I want to add a draft feature on the faces of the model what you're seeing in the screen. So in order to do that, the first thing is I have to select the draft command with the help of left click. I have activated the draft command right now. The first and the important feature after activating the draft command is to select the surface. The surface to be drafted, we have to select it right now. So you can also see on the bottom left corner, Creo is giving us a command over here. It is telling us to select a set of surfaces which has to be drafted. So I can either select an individual surface or I can select multiple surfaces. It totally depends on the need and the application what I'm wanting to do right now. Presently, I will be selecting individual surface, which means I will be selecting a single face of the total geometry or the cube what we are seeing on the screen. In order to select the surface, I will be simply hovering on the surface which I have to draft it, and I will simply click with the left click. Upon selecting, you can see there is a change in the color which indicates that this surface is selected right now. The next important task after selecting the surface is to select the draft hinge. The draft hinge determines the location on the model that remains the same size after the draft is created. Say for example, let me select this particular surface or the face as the draft hinge. For selecting the draft hinge, I have to go to the ribbon and select the first command over here. After that, it asks me to select a plane or a quilt or a round or a chamfer or any kind of reference which I can use as a draft hinge. Let me add one more point over here. The draft surface usually pivots about their intersection with this plane what I'm going to select right now. So let me select this particular surface, and you can see that there is a presence of a tapered feature with respect to the surface, and the tapered feature is having certain amount of angle which is usually called as draft angle. There are certain value ranges for angle. I believe it is from -30 to 30 degrees. Let me just verify by adding a numerical value about 30 degrees, say 45. Is it happening? Yes, it is happening. And let me see what are the maximum limit. It is going up to 89, and obviously it has to go under -89. Yeah, so these are the limits or the ranges for a draft angle. So when we are specifying the angle, we can either hover by clicking on this orange color node, and we can change the amount of draft needed. We can either add the material or we can remove the material. The angle can also be adjusted by clicking on the text field. Presently it is 27. Let me add or reduce the value to 10 degrees. So I have the draft present with me right now. I can also change the angle from the ribbon by clicking in the text field and writing the value which I needed. After a complete creation of the draft, we simply have to press OK. And the draft feature is ready right now. You can press Ctrl D and you can see an amount of draft added. So right now we have added a draft to the individual feature. Let us move on and see the process for adding a draft on multiple features.